Hello, welcome to this Kitty Meow Meow CSA history video. As the title of the screen you're looking at right now says, I'm going over a highlight on greatness in CSA. We just ended the second season. I'm excited really to look into what exactly we have in store for history and the statistics of just previous seasons and the greats we have in this league, man, because I think it's so awesome to appreciate them and really look forward to, what they can do in the future. I also have a highlight on some of the best teams, some of the best Baltimore Boxers players, as I am the Baltimore Boxers GM, and announcing two Hall of Fame members for the Baltimore Boxers at the very end. But before we get into that, I would like to thank today's sponsor for the video. Into the AM, you see the code right there, 10% off using code KID. This is one of the best shirts you're going to get for this price. I mean, it's like 20 bucks and you get a really nice snug fitting around the shoulder shirt, but it's not, not too tight on the belly, keeping the belly nice. So one of the best shirts I would recommend getting, and if you get it, use code KIT, and I'm gonna leave the link in the bio. Amazing brand, love them very much. Thank them so much for sponsoring this video. But going on to that, let's go into the video. A highlight on greatness in CSA. Top five players in CSA history. That's our first subject here. I'm looking at the top five players. I can't get exact statistics on everything because I just don't have exact player statistics. For, how many total points they have over the last two seasons. I have my franchise, so I don't have every player. But this is based off basically mainly playoff resumes. That is what is most important. If you're winning all the playoff games, you're probably really good. So this is mainly based off of that, but I don't think this list is too insane. If anybody saw this list, it's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Those guys are really left their mark on the league and think they deserve a spot in here. At number five, I have Rule here. He played world class in season one. Actually, I believe he played Superstar and subbed up, but he did go to the finals in world class season one and pro season two with the Savannah Phantoms there. He's been to two finals. That's only, I believe, only one other player has done that, and they're further on in this list. But he's been to two finals, winning one. He didn't play in the second one he won. This is why he's at five, but he did play a significant amount of that season to get his team to that spot. So I do believe he deserves this nod, and this isn't some Mickey ring for him. I think he really did deserve it. His all-time ranking right now for me is five. Played for the Spartans and the Phantoms. Demo merchant? Question mark. Now that Demo's not GMing, will Rule ever be good again? Who knows? But on a serious note, man, shout out Rule. I think it's so cool to see a player do this, and shout out to him. Very excited for what he has to do in the future. Number two, we got Desi. Everyone knows Desi, man. He was on the world-renowned best team ever, which I believe is still the best team ever. Of course, on Novice for two seasons. He was on the Renegades, the first one, on the Toronto Six for the second one. He has himself an MVP, a finals win, and he was part of what many consider the best team of all time, which I do believe is still the best team of all time after Rule and a person, someone somewhat further on this list, knocked out the Stallions, who had a chance to be the best team of all time. But yeah, I mean, he finished with a top four in the second season, so it's not like he was a one and done guy. Top four finish is still really good. So I mean, he's just been amazing for two seasons. An MVP and a finals is it's amazing to get that and to be really good the following season. I have him at this fourth spot. He's really good, man. Shout out Desi, and I think he's one of those guys that are gonna go down as one of the best in CSA history just in general because he just keeps getting better, keeps grinding, keeps playing. So I'm very excited to see what he has going forward for him. Number three, this could be Glaze. Could be Glaze, but I have Carl's Nuts here at the three spot of the season one pro, and in season two he was on novice, both for the Akron Kings. Shout out, Busy man, keeping Carl's Nuts locked down. But yeah, Carl's Nuts earned an MVP in his first season and reached the finals in his second. I mean, winning an MVP, making the finals, that's what you want to do with a Rocket League player. Said he didn't end up going to the finals his pro season that he won MVP, but he was the MVP. So obviously he had a great season regardless. And in the second season of novice, he went up against the Stallions. Didn't end up winning, but he did make a finals appearance. So I think the fact that it being across two different seasons, that he was able to accomplish such high achievements, I think that warrants his three spot. I mean, it was, for Desi, he did it mainly all in one season. All super big accolades were in one season. Carl's not saying he was able to span that across two. So I think, I think I'm gonna give him a little bit of a bump for that, spreading out across two instead of majority of it being one. Although Desi did make top four still. I don't want to act like like an MJ fan and be like, oh well, but he was only top four. Like top four is really good still. Now we're gonna move on to number two. Number two being Bryant, the 1 and 2 were really hard for me to place. I'm not gonna lie. Bryant and Brian and number one, who anyone has decent ball knowledge, they know who number one is by now. But I think Bryant being in world class made me really think if he should be one or not. But he played for the Kings and the Titans, played both seasons in CSA's top tier world class, winning MVP and finals in his first. That was a beautiful run, by the way, for those who did not see it, beating out Rule, who's on this list. A lot of intermingling on the list, which I think is pretty cool. But able to beat out Rule. Rule was, sub up, so really kind of Rule for getting there. But Brian, wins that first world class title, which is that feels awesome seeing that. And then he had himself a top four finish at the end of this season, which is also once again an amazing accomplishment. Continuously in this world class tier that got even better. The best player was 2,300 last season, and he was the only one above 21. This season, 2,300, you might not even hang in world class. You gotta be real good, and Brian was able to hang once again, getting a top four finish this season. I think that's just insane, being that good over just the skill range you have to be to continuously be that good at this top tier range. So shout out Brian. I have him in the two spot. But for number one, I got Fighter Vet, man. I I always every time I talk about this guy, I want to say someone told me he was like 37. If he is, man, shout out Onk. But someone could also be lying to me. But he was in pro both seasons. For the first season, he was on the Renegades, losing in Game 7 overtime. Absolute brutal. But in season 2, he ends up upsetting what was looking to be the best team of all time in the San Antonio Stallions season 2 professional team with Rule wasn't on the field, but Rule was on the team, and he ends up doing that, man. I think that's really cool. The story this guy has. I mean, reached the finals in his first season with Rochester, losing in 7, but in the second season he came back and won in 7. It's an amazing story. Only one of, I believe, him and Rule are the only players to make 2 finals. I believe. I could be wrong. I'm pretty sure those are the only 2 players to actually, make 2 finals. Fighter Vet starting them both. Rule, had some. I say Rules. I don't want to say it's Mickey. Rule's a great player, but it's definitely some interesting circumstances for the 2 he made. But Fighter Vet made 2 finals as a starter, won one, almost won 2. I promise you, if he won both of them, he would have easily been here. But here, amazing. Once again, you see a repeat here with the Phantoms and Renegades, great franchises that have legendary moments and legendary teams. So shout out to Fighter Bet. Those are my top 5. To go back over it again, I had Rule at 5. I had Desi at 4, Carl's Nuts at 3, Brian at 2, and Fighter Vet at 1. Great players. Shout out to them, man. But we're going to go on to a look at franchise records. I think this is a fun thing to look at the end of the season because you see, what teams this season did really well, what franchises in the future might have some elite tiers that you got to look at. It's what franchises right now have elite tiers that you want to be in and you want to look at. I'll start off on the top here with the wins for all tiers. This counts, how many wins the certain franchise has for said certain tier and ranks them out of all of them. And the number one with 128 total wins over 2 seasons, Denver Shred Superstar team. Them winning it last season and them getting top 4 this season. 2 amazing finishes. The Superstar Denver team has been elite both times. San Antonio Stallions Pro. Funny. This one's a lot more funnier because most of those wins are from this season. That's just how good that team was. I believe 70% of those wins were from this season. So that's a cool thing to think about is like that's how good they were this season. Is that they were okay, lackluster even last season, but with an elite season, they're the number 2. Like it's still something you want to be a part of. And an interesting one to me, the San Diego Sea Lions Academy team, who not won a championship, but they did come second last season, and they had a brutal top 8 loss where their top player did not show up. So unfortunate for them, but the San Diego Sea Lions Academy is just always amazing and always something you need to watch out for. Just like the Stallions Pro team, the Denver Novice were amazing this season, getting the most of their points for this 115 of the wins they have. So it's like okay, yeah, that's cool to see that they were just that good this season. That their okay season last season doesn't really matter as much. And then this Pro Miami Makos team was very good this season, was solid last season, and they had they had some mishaps. They did have some citrusy mishaps happen to them, but it was a really good team, and just 2 seasons of being really solid that gets you there. Same with this Akron Kings pro team. They had Carlos Nuts last season, and this season were led by Eli, both really good players, both MVP caliber in my opinion. And 2 great seasons, 2 great players, and gets you on this list. And of course, Rochester Novice. Most of their wins coming from last season. They regular season they weren't. They were certainly not as good this season, but they did have some a fun little playoff game they got to participate in. So shout out them, seeing that legendary franchise tier up there, and then also Chicago Titans Novice. If I feel like I don't remember too much about them last season, but they were pretty solid this season. So shout out them, man. And then San Antonio Stallions Novice, of course, winning it all this season. That's where most of their points are coming from because I don't think they even made playoffs last season for San Antonio. And the superstar San Diego Sea Lions with 106. Shout out Mythic, those who know, but mainly off the back of him and the great team they had last season. I believe won a major, or was close to winning a major last season. So great teams over multiple seasons. Now we're getting to this win percentage in all tiers. This is where you're going to see more one and done, where there's only been one season of results, so their win percentage is going to be higher. But if you see more, if you see a tier with a team that has more than one season of results and they're still in this top 10, that's company. That's elite company. Number one here is the world class New York Vanguard. They were dangerous, dropping 2 series after they got the new team together, or 3, considering they lost the finals. 3 series all season with the new team, and almost 70% win rate. It's pretty crazy. This Atlanta Aces team with a 67% win rate through Academy, winning it all in a reverse sweep in the Academy finals. That was peak, but yeah. So I think it's really cool. You see one of those are tiers that are looking for in the future to be that elite. Like you want to be me. You want to be on my team in Atlanta on the Academy. That's where you want to be. I think that's really cool to look at. And then of course Rochester Novice still top 3 after getting the 12 seed this season. So that really shows you how elite they were last season. And Toronto Prem, a great team. They ended up winning the finals in Prem. St. Louis Archers Superstar ended up winning this season, their first season. St. Louis Academy ended up almost winning. Got reverse swept though, unfortunately for them. Novice Denver Shred. That's mainly this season. I really don't remember them being too special last season, but apparently they were just that good this season that it kind of evened out. This Primaco's team, which felt a little under the radar. I feel like he's always ran into that Phantoms team, which is pretty deadly and under the radar team, man. I think those guys are all pretty good. So shout out them for getting on this list. And then Savannah Phantoms Pro, also there at 9, who ended up winning a championship for themselves. Once again, their first season, Savannah Phantoms. So shout out them. And then the world class Akron Kings. This is another 2-seasoner. The Akron Kings ended up winning last season, and they made top 8 this season, upsetting my glorious guys and Patty Taco stashing on. But Busy knows how to make a world class team. That is for sure. So shout out to them. Shout out to everybody who made this list. This is elite company. This is the best of the best. Eventually, I do want to go over the separate tiers and stuff, but for this video specifically, I want to look at the best of the best. I want to look at pure greatness, and that is what we're looking at right now on my screen. Your screen as well, of course. But I think it's really cool to look at. And we're gonna go on to the next thing. Talk a little bit more about my franchise, the Baltimore Boxers, man. These are the all-time players. This is the top 20. I have a little formula that calculates their all-time stats and puts them in a place based off of, their average position in the all-time stats list. And I'm going to start down at 20. I know I have everyone. I'm going to start down here at 20, but Ash's last season, him being at 20 is pretty funny. Not going to lie, because he came in the very end of the Superstar season last season and was able to make top 8 after being in a very, very low seed. And also played for world class in the playoffs. So he's the 20th player here based off my formula. And then shout out Mystic, a player from this season on the Prem team. Got a whole lot of demos. I believe he might have the demo record all time and in a season. He got himself quite a few demos. So shout out Mystic, man, able to make this top 20. Patty, also a newcomer this season in world class, was an MVP candidate through basically the entire season. Shout out him. Great player. Love talking to him. 17, we got Comet, once again, a new player. A lot of these guys are going to be newer just because I feel like the franchise was better this season. Not going to lie. I mean, we did do better, so that's probably why I feel like we did better. But yeah, so Shout out Comment was an amazing player, probably one of the best. Love talking to him, love having him on the team. And then Taco Stash, future future GOAT, my GOAT Taco Stash 84 was an amazing captain for the team. I really loved him for that. And here at 16, great player. And then 15 we got Fluke. Aqua found Fluke. He was just not on the team, and then we signed him, and he was really good. So here he is at 15, a great, amazing player the second half of the season. Took us from like the 13 seed to all the way to making top four. Great player, great turnaround for the team. Shout out to him. 14, we have Zava. This is an old player for once, besides Ashes. Zava was on the professional team last season, ended up finishing top eight. Now, wasn't exactly what we wanted, but great player for us last season. Shout out Zava. Number 13, me. That's me. This is 100% longevity. I am the Frank Gore of this franchise. I just played like 88 games. I wasn't even that good. I would say I was bad. Actually, I wouldn't even say I was actually good because this is accumulative stats, not per game and stuff, because it'd be a little wonky. But that is on the GML website, which I will also link in the chat, which has, compares players per game stats, all time stats, and just sees, how good of a player they have been for me. But 12 years, Miller, a newcomer. Funny story with Miller. Before I kept Likewise, before I was able to, I had the first overall pick of Superstar. And I was like, okay, who am I going to pick with this pick, man? Miller was going to be my original first overall pick in Superstar. So seeing him fall to round two, I was delighted to put him and Likewise together. And then getting, of course, Swish, who was later up on this list on the team as well, was making me very happy. They did amazing, man. They got top four this season. Moving on to Gavalanche. First ever draft pick. Much love to Gav. Everyone told me I was stupid for taking him top five last season, but they're stupid. I'm right. Gav's the GOAT. But regardless, I got Gav from World Class last season. Great player. And going on to the top 10, we got Okinos from Novice. Those who know, yeah, he was a great player. Got franchise MVP for me last season. Was one of the best players on the franchise. Unfortunately, he did call out the best team of all time and said he could beat them. He did not. But shout out him for trying, man. Much love to him for that, for trying. But number 9, we got Bob the Huge Man. Legendary Bob the Huge Man. Played for Superstar last season, same team as Ashes, and played for Novice for me this season. Was able to make that comeback as well. Both seasons, I've kind of been like, Bob, please save me, Bob. And the Bob was able to save me both times. So shout out Bob for that, man. Number 8, we have Cole. Those who know Cole, man, great guy. Yeah, he was an amazing player for me. Subbed up quite a few times and able to get here in the 8th spot. And then another new player, Bladat. Great guy on the professional team this season. Showed up for every game. Did not have to worry about that one at all. Here he is at the 7. Lovely guy. Everyone loves Bladat. And the number 6, we have Plasma, who just won himself a finals in a professional on a different team. Shout out to him, man. He was great. He was going to be my keeper, but he couldn't play the first half of the season. So I let him go. But shout out Plasma, man. Great player. I love him a lot. And then number 5, this is where we're getting to some interesting territory. Number 5, we have Pandaliciously. Played 2 seasons as a starter. Quite an interesting season this season. We drafted him second round. Probably shouldn't have done that. Cut him. He played in Power Hour. Signed him back. Went on a pretty good playoff run with him. So shout out Panda for that. And then number 4, Aqua, who played over 100 games this season between subbing up and just, I believe, 98 professional games. Almost played 100 professional games because they went to game 5 7 times in the regular season. So he just played way more games than everyone else. Shout out him for that, man. And number 3, you have Swish, Superstar legend. Played for Superstar last season. Before I really knew who he was my assigned franchise caster. I asked him, do you know anybody in the draft? And he was like, nah, I don't know anybody in the league. So I just picked a random team for him last season. Ended up trading him for Bob the Huge Man. Well, actually, it was for Nate, who I then traded for Bob the Huge Man. But that was a debacle in itself. Funny one at that. But yeah, he was on the team for the first half of last season and for the entirety of this season. Shout out Swish. Number 2, we have Great Honda on Academy, current AGM. Was I knew I was going to draft him. Forced him into the league. Him and Panda both. So shout out to Great Honda. And the number 1, we have Likewise. the Baltimore Boxers franchise GOAT. Likewise, also owner of the league. He's a man of many leagues. Played in Prem, played in World Class, played in Superstar, and it's just been amazing every single time. And I haven't really had to worry about it. Unfortunately, he's getting too good where I don't think I can keep him this year. I'd have to draft him in Prem or World Class. Probably not World Class, but I have to draft him in Prem because you cannot keep a pick in Prem. So sad to unfortunately have to let him go, but I am able to keep most of these guys, or some of them not. But I do like to bring my guys back, and I plan on doing that for the most part. Shout out these 20 guys. Much love to them. They will always have a spot in my heart on this franchise. But I'd also like to introduce the Baltimore Boxers Hall of Fame class. At the end of every season, after this one, I didn't do it last season because we only had one season of product. But going forward, every season, I'm going to introduce 2 players into the Hall of Fame of the Baltimore Boxers for the first 2 seasons. For the first two, this was pretty set in stone. I wanted to do 3, but it felt like I was leaving 1 or 2 outs by my criteria I was looking at. So I decided 2. If I do 2 every season, I can do a solid 2 that I know really deserve to be here. And for the first Hall of Famer for the Baltimore Boxers, I want to introduce Likewise. Great guy. Drafted him World Class. He was part of my first ever draft, and I kept him in Superstar this season. Sounds very chalked because they're currently like 200 MMR apart, 300 MMR apart, but a lot different from season 1. But shout out him, man. Through 3 seasons, Likewise, has been a top player for my team, taking my team to new heights, man. I mean, it was amazing. It was my only finals appearance, major playoffs, was Superstar, making it to Major One finals, and that was awesome to watch. So appreciate him for helping the team do that. But he's also the owner of CSA, so without him, none of this would be possible. I wouldn't be making this video. I wouldn't have this T-shirt. So I'm really proud of him and grateful to have him on the franchise for these 2 seasons. And I hope if my draft pick comes around in Prem, I get a good one, I'm able to snatch him up. I'd love to have him back. But yeah, shout out Likewise, man. Much love to him. And then number 2, we got Great Wanda, man. Academy legend. He's been on the franchise for 2 seasons as well. AGM this one, and is known for trolling in this Academy tier a little bit. But regardless of that, man, he tries, and I respect that very much about him. He's also just one of the most active players on my team. I always talk to him. The Academy team's always popping when he's there. So much love to him as well. These are the 2 Hall of Fame players for the first ever Baltimore Boxers Hall of Fame class. Likewise, and Great Honda. So as I said, much love to them. I'm so excited to be able to have these guys and Honda coming back for another season. I guarantee it. So get to see him for a third. Get to see him keep growing as a player, as an AGM, and see where that goes. But much love to everyone I've mentioned today. Much love to greatness in CSA, and much greatness to CSA, man. I mean, it's awesome to see where we've gotten. I'm so excited for season 3. But that being said, this is the end of the video now. So once again, thank you to Into the AM for sponsoring this video. 10% off using code KIT. I will play a little outro clip for them. But yeah, thank you so much for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. And if you have any questions, please hit my DMs on Discord, because that's, I'm assuming, how you find this video. So thank you so much.